Good morning, good morning, good morning, Miss Parker's class. It's cold in here, so I want to do my presentation, but I'm shivering a little bit. So hopefully you guys are feeling nice and warm and cozy at home and things are going good for you. But today is a very special day because we're going to do a presentation that is very special, okay? Because the month of March is a special month. The month of March is a month that we celebrate something called Women's History Month. Okay. And what we mean by we celebrate it is we do some lessons in things about women's history and about how women have changed the world and have made the world such a better place. And here in the United States, especially, so we're going to talk about women today, okay, and why we should recognize their beautiful accomplishments and contributions to every part of our lives, okay? We were all born to a woman, right? All of us have a mother somewhere, right? And we all have important women in our lives, if it's our mother or our grandmother or an aunt or our teacher or somebody else that we really, really love and they really care about us and love us too, right? So we're going to talk about some very, very important women in history today. Okay, and I'm going to give you some information about each one of them. And so you guys could realize how important it is to recognize women and be able to appreciate and love women for how great they are and how much they do for us. Okay, and how much of an inspiring role model many women have become. Okay, so let me turn on my screen. Hold on a second. Let me present it. Present my entire screen. Okay. Hopefully you're able to see my screen now, right? And right here on my screen, I have a picture of women from all over the world, okay? There are women here of all shapes and sizes, of all colors, of all ethnicities, right? Of all different looks and different hairstyles, because women represent people from all over the world. Okay, women are half, or if not more than half, of every. If you were to count up everybody in the world, okay, women are half of those people. And so they are very important for us to remember about and to think about and to celebrate. Okay. And this is Women's History Month in March. So we're going to celebrate some women. Okay. And so let me go through and let's start talking about a couple of these people. Okay. Amazing, amazing people. Ooh, okay. I have a picture here of Amelia Earhart. Okay. She is very famous because she was the first female pilot. So she flew airplanes, okay, across the Atlantic Ocean. And the Atlantic Ocean was so big, is so big, right? At one point in time, it was thought that women couldn't fly planes because women didn't have the intelligence and the strength to be able to fly a plane all the way across an ocean. Okay, so Amelia Earhart was one of those people that was a groundbreaker, and she decided that she wanted to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. So she was the first female pilot to do that. Okay, and she became very famous for that. So she is somebody that we should celebrate. Okay, this is a picture of Harriet Tubman. And I think we did a lesson a couple of weeks ago on in Black History Month about Harriet Tubman, right? And she is very famous because during the time of slavery, when people owned other people, okay, she would help lead people to freedom. And she helped lead hundreds and hundreds of people to their freedom. So they didn't have to be owned and they weren't part of the slavery problem, okay, in the United States. So Harriet Tubman is one of those people that we should celebrate and we should be thankful for. Okay. This right here is a picture of Susan B. Anthony. Okay. At one point in the history of the United States didn't allow women to vote for whoever represented them, right? You know how we just voted for president recently, right? At one point in the US history, women weren't allowed to vote because they weren't considered as valuable as men, okay? This lady, Susan B. Anthony, helped to fight that and make sure that women won their right to vote and made sure women won the right to have their voices heard. Okay. So she's what they call a suffrage leader. Suffrage is just winning the right to vote. Okay. So she's a hero in American history. And so she's somebody that we should celebrate. Frida Kahlo. Okay. Miss Frida Kahlo is a world famous artist. She was from Mexico, but her art is all over the world now. Okay. You may have even seen her and you didn't even recognize her. She was in the movie Coco, right? And she was a famous artist in Coco too. But she is a very, very famous artist and she helped set art trends, and many people study about her life now and about her artwork, and it's very, very valuable artwork. Okay, so she is somebody that we should celebrate. This one, probably many of you don't know about, but this is Lucille Ball. Okay, during a time in television history in the United States, there was a time where men were the only ones to make decisions about what would come on TV. Okay, men were the decision makers, and Lucille Ball was a famous actor that became a producer, and she wanted to decide what came on TV, so everybody could see it, not just men, right? But women would like to see other women on TV, and children would like to see other children on TV, right? So Lucille Ball, she used her fame and her celebrity, right, and her power to be able to become one of the biggest TV producers of her time. And her company owned a lot of different TV stations and a lot of different TV programs. Okay, so she is like a hero in American television history. Okay, and somebody that if you ever saw her acting, you would laugh because she was very funny in how she acted and in her TV shows. Okay, so she's somebody that we should look up to. Rosa Parks. Okay, I don't know if you've ever heard the story of Rosa Parks, but Rosa Parks is a civil rights leader. That means that she fought so that way everybody could be treated equally. Okay, and she started that because one day she was forced to ride on a bus, but back in those days, the black people were forced to ride in the back of the bus, right? Where if you were white, you could ride in the front of the bus. But Rosa Parks thought that was wrong, and she wanted to just sit wherever she could sit. So she refused to move to the back of the bus, and they arrested her. Okay, and she went to jail for her right to be able to sit anywhere on the bus and be treated as an equal. And that event kind of started up something called the Civil Rights Movement, which fought to make sure that everybody was treated equal. Okay, so Rosa Parks is an American hero that we should celebrate, we should recognize, and we should respect. Okay, that's her. Ooh, Jane Goodall. Okay, Jane Goodall is a famous scientist, and she's here. They show her in a picture holding a chimpanzee because she was very famous for working with chimpanzees and getting to know chimpanzees. And because chimpanzees are closely related to us because they have a lot of the same bones and the same blood as we do, right? They're not like human, but they're pretty close, okay? And Jane Goodall studied them and studied their family structure and figured out how they interacted with each other, how they talked to each other, how they behaved around each other. And so she became a famous scientist for that, okay? And she was one of the most famous scientists ever in the world, okay? So she should be respected and recognized, okay, for her contributions to science. Sally Ride. Sally Ride was the first woman into space in the 1980s, okay? Before that, there had only been men that had went into space. And Sally Ride said, no, I want to be an astronaut too. I want to be able to go into the stars and reach the stars like everybody else that's been doing it. And so she fought really hard and studied really hard and made sure that she passed her test to be able to become the first astronaut into space, the first woman astronaut into space. Okay. And so she's also somebody that we can respect and we can celebrate and recognize. All right. Oh, this picture is of a lady named Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison is famous because she wrote books and poems and a lot of different stuff. And she won 2 of the biggest awards that a person that is an author could ever win. She won what's called a Pulitzer Prize, okay? And she won a Nobel Prize for literature. And that she is one of the only people to ever be able to win both of those things, okay? And she happened to be a woman that wrote great books, okay? If you ever get a chance to read these books when you get older, maybe you'll want to, okay? Because she was a great author. I'm sorry. Ooh, Oprah Winfrey. Maybe some of you guys have seen Miss Oprah Winfrey. She was a famous television producer and a talk show host, okay? She became the first African-American female billionaire, okay? Because at the time, she wanted to be on TV and people would tell her, no, Oprah, you're not pretty enough, right? And she didn't think it should matter how pretty she was. She just felt that she should be on TV because she had something that she wanted to say. And she believed that people would listen to her. And sure enough, she fought and fought and fought. And people did listen to her. And she ended up having a lot of stuff to say. And so people would watch her show and she became the most famous person on TV. And now she's one of the most famous television producers. Her company puts on a lot of different shows on TV so other people can see. And she is super wealthy and uses some of that money to help other people, okay? So she's somebody that we could respect and we could acknowledge and we could celebrate, okay? Ooh, Justice Sonia Sotomayor, okay? Miss Sotomayor is the first Latina Supreme Court justice. And I don't know if you know what the Supreme Court is, but the Supreme Court is the highest court in all of the United States. They help make sure that all the rules that are and the laws that are written are followed, okay? And if you're on the Supreme Court, people tend to think that you're one of the most intelligent, well-read, very well-mannered people in all of the United States, okay? And Justice Sonia Sotomayor happens to be the first Latina on the Supreme Court, okay? And so she's somebody that we could look up to, somebody that we could celebrate, somebody that we could want to be like, okay? Kamala Harris, right? Many of you might have already heard about her, but she's the Vice President of the United States now. And I put her here because she's the first female Vice President of the United States ever, okay? She didn't let people stop her and tell her that she couldn't be vice president just because she was a woman, right? She said she wanted to be vice president, so she fought and fought and fought and did what she had to do to become vice president, and now she's vice president, right? So nobody could tell anybody again that a woman can't be vice president or even president of the United States, okay? So I wanted to show you all these amazing women so that way if you're a young lady in Miss Parker's class, you can also know that nothing and nobody can stop you from, from being who you want to be. If you want to be a scientist, or if you want to be an artist or an actress, or whatever you want to do, if you want to go into space, or you want to be the first female president of the United States, you can do it, and nobody could tell you can't do it, right? And if you're a young man and you have other young women around you or very important women around you, right? Then you got to celebrate them and you got to tell them how much you appreciate them and how much they do for you and how much you love them for doing that, right? Because we all have very special women in our lives. For some of us, it's our mothers. For some of us, it's our aunts or our grandmothers. Okay. But there are very special women in our lives, and some of you are even very special women yourselves, right? If you're a woman, you're a very special woman. Okay. So it's time to celebrate you and time to celebrate those important women in our lives and those important women in our history. Okay. So I hope you guys learned a little something about a bunch of different women, and I hope you guys know that they are inspirations for you to become whoever you want to be, and nobody can tell you you can't. Okay, don't let anybody tell you you can't. All right, so until next time, I will say bye. Take care, be careful, be safe. Okay, and I will see you later. Bye.